Yeah, I'm gonna have to upload this video in two parts. Sorry about that. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and when the phone call came through, it disrupted the video. It actually ended the video. I didn't think I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I guess I do. So let's get back to. I'm gonna start the critical infrastructure over again. Okay, so again, Ibrahim Traore and other leaders of the Sahel Alliance, they are begging for the most educated. I'm hoping that they're begging for the most educated, and they're not begging for Willie Ray Ray and Junebug to come back to Africa, because I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna get killed if they go to Africa. They can play that bullshit over here in America. You want to be all gangstered out? You're gonna go over in Africa, and you're gonna find out real quick it ain't nothing gangster about you, because they got gorillas coming up out of the bushes over there. You want to see some heavy hitters and killers, some assassins? You go over there with that bullshit. Ray Ray Jr., Uncle Bobo, with the bullshit, right? But anyway, let's get back to the critical infrastructure. So I'm gonna start over again. Chemical sector. That's one. Number two, commercial facilities sector. Number three, communications sector. Number four, critical manufacturing sector. Number five, dams sector. Number six, I think this is when the video was interrupted. Defense industrial base. And I was talking about us having the ability to manufacture weapons, tanks, fighter aircraft, missiles of all type, including hypersonic missiles. And it might be something else that some young black boy right now in America, he only like maybe 4 or 5 years old, and he's sitting in front of the TV playing his little video games. And if he had the right, if I had it, then I definitely would. Ain't no playing inside my house. You ain't just finna be walking around playing. It ain't gonna be none of that. Just straight seriousness up in my stuff. We play when we play, but 6 days out of the week, you're gonna be serious. So, the little boy, he's sitting in front of playing his video games. He has no idea that he is gonna be the next engineer or scientist to develop a more powerful hypersonic missile. Right now, I guarantee you right now, in some community in America, it's a black boy sitting in front of it, playing his game right now. He has no idea what he's gonna do. But anyway, let's get back to the business. So yeah, we need to be able to launch spy satellites. We need to become versed in building submarines and submarine warfare, all that kind of stuff. We need those type of critical thinkers. Okay? Emergency services sector. Now, this is one that we already have a hand up in. There are a lot of black fire chiefs around the country, a lot of black firemen, a lot of black police. People who respond to natural disasters. We need y'all. So, I don't know the ratio of firefighters down here in Memphis. I know, cities like San Francisco, there's a paucity of black people as firefighters. And I haven't really studied the racial makeup of the firefighters down here. I see the trucks passing by and all that stuff, but I'm not looking inside the trucks and stuff like that. And I haven't done the research. So I don't know how many black firemen we have down here, but we have an upper hand in that particular sector right there. Financial services sector. Financial services sector. There is definitely a paucity of black folks that's versed enough in internal finance and international finance. We got to raise the numbers up. We got to get our people off inside these business classes. We have to take the most educated of our youth and start sending them over to India, sending them over to China, sending them to Russia, sending them to various ports around the world, the UAE, Qatar. We need financial developers, financiers. So that is definitely a field that we have to start concentrating on, because without the money, then there is no other movement. We need the money. We need to know how to build viable financial institutions. Let me tell you one thing. Russia, with over 16,000 sanctions imposed on them by the West, they have been able to blunt the effectiveness of sanctions. And if we study sanctions, the history of sanctions as a regime, the way the United States have been applying it, your society is going to be torn apart. You will have no, you'll be like Iraq. They waited for 12 years before they attacked Iraq again. They had the sanctions on them, the no-fly zones, and all this old kind of stuff. So the Second World War, they was fighting against a very weakened Iraqi army because of sanctions. And let's look at other societies that have been, either destroyed or had to adapt to sanctions. Cuba, Iran. I mean, the United States, they even sanction their own partners. So, bullying, that's what they're doing. They bully their own partners, right? Okay. Energy sector, very important. Again, when we talk about the number of blacks that's involved in the energy section, it's a very small number of people from our communities who are in that particular field there. We got to get the numbers up. So I told you the website to go to. You can go to Homeland Security, and you can, go down each sector and click on it, and it'll give you more extensive information. Right now, I'm just going through it very quickly. Food and agriculture sector, very important. If America say, okay, well, you want to be anti-American, you want to defund the police, we're going to let you feed yourself. Our community would be dead in 3 months. It would take 3 months for the African American community to starve to death. We don't have enough black farmers. We don't have the logistical infrastructure to grow food and then strategically place the food and food products into those communities that are of our hue. So having the ability to feed yourself is very important. Africa has millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of acres that have been developed and can be developed. So for all the brothers, I don't want to be no farmer, you better think again. Some farmers make a whole lot of money. That's the white farmers over here in America. They have a monopoly on farming. My grandmother down here in Tennessee, she was paid by the government not to grow crops and food products on her land. They paid her not to do it. And in my lifetime, 51 years old, I have never seen any crop grow out there that the government say, okay, well, we subsidizing your land, we're going to plant a crop out here. No. Land undeveloped. So don't sleep on farmers. Brothers, we need y'all to grow that pig. We need some pork. we got the New Year coming up. People gonna be barbecuing on New Year. I want to go down the street to brother Woodrow and say, man, I need 3 or 4 cows to cut up. Go over here and he's growing steak. Or over there, the brother, not growing steak, but he's raising cattle. I said growing steak. I hear you growing steak. But the brother raising cattle. I need to be able to go over there and say, okay, well, on this particular day, I'm gonna need 50 heads of this, 50 heads of that. So don't sleep on the farmers. Let's get back to the business. Government services. and facilities sector. Now, again, we're talking about critical infrastructure. I know this is going to have to be part 2 of the video because I was interrupted. The first video, well, not the first video, but my recording was interrupted because I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And when I tried to view, hold on 1 second. I need this. Okay. Again, people disturbing me. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so now the text came through. Back to what I was saying. Government services and facilities sector. Now let's talk about that. Because if indeed we go back, or those of us who, those of us who want to become multi-millionaires, and I'm not talking about, 20 or 30. I'm talking about this man right here is worth 300, 400, 500, 800 million. This guy over here, this sister over here, she's worth 30 billion, right? When we talk about government services and government services and facilities sector. Okay, so we got the food stamp department and all that, but you cannot take your colonial mindset over in Africa. You cannot go to Africa talking about you're going to start the Democratic Party or the Republican Party and all that kind of stuff. Now, this right here is just a little different, because we're talking about, being able to go down and get some type of governmental assistance. But please, do not take your colonial politics to Africa or anywhere else where we go in large numbers. Because the line of demarcation is going to be drawn when you go over there and you're dealing with what I refer to as the native population. If you think you're going to go over into any part of Africa talking about you finna start the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, I would hope that they militarily crush you out immediately because you're bringing that cancer to their society. Don't even go to Africa talking about democracy and all that kind of stuff because you don't practice democracy in America. What you think of as democracy in America is nothing but monopoly capitalism being disguised as democracy. It's not democracy. You don't know what democracy is. You know what liberalism is. That's why our communities are the way they are. Anyway. Healthcare and public health services. Now, we do have quite a few blacks in America that's a part of this sector here. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the people that clean shit. The LVNs and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the doctors, medical doctors, surgical doctors. As you go to the upper echelon of the healthcare services, we start getting short, right? And I would suggest that if you need to make this decision early, because that's a heavy science right there. You're going to have to really be a critical thinker. You're talking about being a brain surgeon. Come on. I can go and become a LPN. LVN, LPN, what? Licensed practical. I can do that. But some of our people are so lazy in our community that that's what they strive to be. The lowest on the totem pole. They're just above the man that's pushing the patient up and down the hallway. They the next level up. Right? The doctors don't even talk to them. Pass right by them. I don't blame them. The only thing you bring is trouble with your multicolored hair up off in there and your little tight little pants on. And one of these days I'm going to tell you why I don't like nurses. I'm going to tell you why. Anyway, back to the business. information technology sector. Again, another field where there's a paucity of African American, black, whatever you want to call them, a paucity of us into that field right there. Yes, we have people that's involved in, information, the ITs. But can our people, the ones who are involved, can they compete with the Indians? Can they compete with the Chinese or the South Koreans? Can they compete with the Russians? I don't think so. But just because we can't compete today does not mean that we can't compete tomorrow. And again, for those who came in late on this particular video, we're talking about critical infrastructure, the components that we need in order to survive. These are the type of things that weren't talked about back in the 60s when we were running around with the illusion that we wanted our own land, and we didn't talk about this kind of stuff. If I was America, I would say, okay, you want your own land? There you go. Go over there. We're not going to give you no aid. See how quick they would have come running back to their masters, right? They would have come running back quick. And we need some help. Because again, we are not a people who have been educated in the components of critical infrastructure. There's a dislocation. I might be, again, over here in the emergency services, but I'm not looking at the holistic value of bringing all these people together in order to run and maintain society. Okay, so we have information technology sector. Nuclear reactors, material, and waste sector. Okay, so Russia is going to help Burkina Faso build a nuclear power plant. Do you know how ahead of the game they're about to get over in Burkina Faso? Russia is about to help them build a nuclear power plant. So we need people involved in the nuclear science. Those are the type of critical thinkers we need. Waste sector. We need to be able to safely dispose of unuseful material. How do we do that? If we don't have the people that's trained in disposal operations and being able to, safely store it, move it from point A to point Z, then we are at an extreme disadvantage. Transportation systems sector. Now we are represented highly in this field here when it comes to buses. Buses, maybe subways. We have some people up off inside those particular sectors right there. But do we know how to build a rail line? Do we know how to bore a hole through a mountain and put our rail line through that mountain? Do we know how to dig 50, 60 meters underground for a subway system? I don't know if they go that deep, maybe not. But again, do we know how to build underground subways? I'm from the Bay Area. So in the Bay Area, we have BART, connected from Oakland to San Francisco, which is 7 miles away. Our subway goes underwater. I was out there for 32 years and never had an issue on the BART. I never saw a leak or anything like that. So can we build facilities like that? That's critical infrastructure. And can you protect those facilities? Down here in Memphis, since I've been down here, we had, I think it's the bridge. Cracks in the bridge. The bridge was, connecting from Memphis to Arkansas. The bridge was closed for 2-3 months. Can you imagine the nightmare that the Bay Area would have if the Bay Bridge was shut down for 3 months? or Golden Gate was shut down for 3 months, it would be nightmarish. It would be a situation so critical that the economy in the Bay Area would be greatly impeded if people could not travel that bridge from Oakland to San Francisco back and forth every single day. Or the Golden Gate Bridge. It would be, if something happened to the Golden Gate Bridge, I'm thinking that it would be less impactful. I'm not saying it's not gonna, it would be a heavy impact, trust me. But if that Bay Bridge closes for 3 months and everybody had to jump on the BART train, it would be an overload. The economy would definitely slow down. Okay, let's get back to the business. Water and wastewater systems. Water and wastewater systems. Now, I did write some notes down from this. 153,000 public drinking water systems and 16,000 publicly owned wastewater treatment systems in America, where 80% of the people are getting their water from these systems here. America, or any society, would perish if there was a threat to the drinking water. We would not last 3 months. The entire society would die, literally, if we didn't have drinkable drinking water. So these are the types of these are the components of critical infrastructure. And again, when I created this channel, the Passport Bros have an inspiration on this channel right here. And again, I don't want to get into, the tumultuous relationship between the black man and the black woman. But we're going to have to get into it. But it's enough people out there, we got my brother Dennis Sperling, man. I love Dennis Sperling, man. I like Dennis Sperling, you know what I'm saying? He is a lot less apologetic than Kevin Samuels. See, they didn't like Kevin Samuels, right? But I know they despised the Blizzard King. They despised Kevin Samuels because, he was just so savvy with his delivery. They called him arrogant and all this old kind of stuff. But, let's not go on a tangent. But yeah, so the Passport Bros are an influence on this channel right here. I happen to be an ex-convict. I can't leave. I can't go to Canada. And I don't want to fucking go to Canada. They sitting on stolen land up in Canada too. Fuck a Canada. I don't want to go to no part of Europe. I'll go to Russia. I don't want to go to Germany. I don't want to go to France. All that, those ex-colonial powers and all that old kind of. I don't want to spend no money with you. But again, I'm an ex-felon, so I can't just grab my passport, bro, and I'm gonna go down to Cartagena, Colombia, and get me some twat tonight. No, I can't do that. I'm unfortunately, I'm confined behind the iron wall, the Iron Curtain. President Reagan said, the Iron Curtain. No, America's the Iron Curtain. A repressive society. So the Passport Bros, if you are serious, you say you want traditional wives, traditional family values, you abhor American culture. See, I don't celebrate nothing black culture in America. Nothing. Juneteenth. I mean, you can't even go to a Juneteenth celebration without little Pookie Ray Ray and Day Day shooting up the festival. If I was in charge of security, they wouldn't come to the festival I'm throwing because they wouldn't make it out alive. They would not make it out. We would make it. They would not. You ain't got to worry about the police getting to them and putting handcuffs on them because they're not gonna make it out alive. You shoot a gun out here at Juneteenth, one of our so-called historical celebrations, you're gonna die right here. You're not gonna make it out alive. I would have a secret cadre out there waiting on the action to go down. You're not going to make it out alive. But again, I don't celebrate nothing Black History Month, none of that. The only thing I will acknowledge and advocate is Black August. That's something that we created. Black August come from us. It is the only holiday, only commemoration that comes from us. Kwanzaa, I don't celebrate that either. I don't celebrate that. I mean, it's some questions surrounding Ron Karanga. And you got to remember Ron Karanga and the US organization, United Slaves, they were arch enemies of the Black Panther Party. A lot of FBI involvement. Both groups were penetrated. So I don't celebrate Kwanzaa. I celebrate nothing that comes from the African American. I don't even listen to the music. I try not to dress like them. I'm definitely not going to pick up their lingo. It's to the point now where, well, I just saved that. Anyway, $10,000 thundering black shields. I have a vision that if you're just tired of everything, you want to raise your sons and daughters differently. You want a different type of woman. You're tired of being assaulted by the cancerous African American culture. You're tired. Okay? Here's our opportunity to build our own civilization right here on the shores of America. Inside. Now, we're not talking about being, a different nation, we're not talking about none of that. We're talking about 10,000 black men and families. We say, okay, well, let's move down here. Again, I'm in Memphis. And I know exactly where I left off in that last video. I was talking about the transportation system down here in Memphis. But again, I'm down here in Memphis. And Memphis is a historical city. If you don't want to come to Memphis, let's just pick an area somewhere. No, it doesn't have to be Tennessee. But we need to be able to be a united force, a center of gravity, and build a community where we are empowered, where we control the cultural direction and dynamics of our community. And, we have people all over the country that believe in similar things, but you might be in New York. This person right here might be in Las Vegas. This person right here might be in Los Angeles. But we all believe in the same thing. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to transform what we believe in into a living reality. Now, if we all together, 10,000 black men and their families, then that's a nucleus. We can build a town. We just need to pick out the area. I say we pick out an area. Tennessee is beautiful. We have mountains. We have game. We got fishing centers. But there are a lot of other states that offer the same thing. So what I'm saying is that for those of us who can't leave, for those of us who are just sick and tired of the diseased African American culture that has just, this cancerous sore that has just eaten away at the fabric of the black community. It's not even a community anymore, but has just eaten away at the fabric. Then what I say is that we need to think like pioneers. Let's pack our bags and let's go somewhere and let's build the critical infrastructure that we need in order to transcend our ideas into a living reality. That's what I'm talking about. I still have people calling me. You know, I got Rocco somewhere. You know, Rocco is my dog / child, and he's a zip damn fool. So they calling me for Rocco. I ain't gonna tell him what he done did. He probably done tore something up. But we're gonna get more into it. And on that note, I'm going to end this video. And hopefully I'll be able to post another one tomorrow. So peace, I'm out. Stay safe. And for those of us, you know, I really want to talk about this stuff, about these Venezuelan gangs. I'm thinking that it's a lot of propaganda that's being put out there, especially from the blacks, because again, we regurgitate the same crap. I'm from California, and I can emphatically tell you right now that Venezuelan quote so-called gangs, they have no win in California. And the reason why I say that is because the Hispanics in California are not going to allow it. You're not going to bring your gang mindset from Venezuela to California, because up north, the Norteños got that sold up. And down south, the Sureños got that sold up. But I want to talk about this so-called the boogeyman, the Venezuelan gangs. I'm gonna tell you like this here, and we'll talk more in depth about it. For my people, we're not gonna shed an ounce of blood for the black community unless you are personally attacked or your family is personally attacked. Then we're gonna let the black community do what the black community do. If they want to know how to fight in opposition, they need to be talking to the Crips and Bloods down in Los Angeles, because they fought a real opposition against the Southern Hispanics. But as far as my people go, we're not going to waste no manpower on helping the black community. We're going to let them fight for themselves. If one of their brothers are killed or husbands are killed, I'm sure he got brothers and cousins. Let them take care of that. We're not going to waste an ounce of blood. Matter of fact, we're not going to even talk about it, but I want to talk about it because I'm thinking it's propaganda that they putting out there and it's spreading like wildfire. But again, unless you are personally attacked, we're not going to waste no manpower on the black community. They're crying about the Venezuelans taking over their community. They're not taking over the white community. The Venezuelans, they're not taking over the Asian community. They're not taking over the Indian community. And when I'm talking about Indian, I'm talking about the Asian Indians. They're not taking their community over. No, they taking over your little po-ass community because you were content with staying in those po-ass neighborhoods. And now the migrants are coming in, and they coming in disrespectful. Because the men are cowards. They let the women run their community. Why wouldn't I come in? Women are the spoils of war. So if the women are running the community, I'm going to come in as an invading army, and I'm going to take control of that community. But yeah, it's a lot of talk about the so-called Venezuelan gangs that's taking black resources. That's your fault. They know you weak. They know you scary. Ask your slave master to help you out. So again, my people, we ain't getting involved. Unless you attack personally, we're not getting involved. See, we did that in Los Angeles. At first, when it started, they kept it between the so-called gangs. Hispanic gangs fighting black gangs. But then the Hispanics got vicious down in Los Angeles. And they started attacking non-gang combatants. If it was not for the Crips and Bloods in Los Angeles, the black community would have folded, because the Sureño had infrastructure, they had army. They was moving against all blacks. All blacks. It was no longer confined to the Pookie and Ray Ray attacks. They was going after all blacks. They was even killing little black kids down there. So if you want to know how to fight, I mean, if the Venezuelans exhibit an existential threat, then you might need to hook up with some of them brothers down in Los Angeles. Because they going to let you know how to fight these people. I'm telling my people, the world is too important. Let them fight over those little resources in the black community, because they shouldn't be moving in your community. If you would have been putting in the hard work, they wouldn't afford to live in your community. I'm over here by my dad's spot right now. You see these enclaves over here? You see that over there? Do you see that over there? We right now we are on the outskirts. They wanted to turn one where my dad stayed at. They wanted to turn that into Germantown, but it didn't pass. You people have been living in these poor ass communities for decades. Content. They ain't over there. You see that right there? That's called Callis Creek. They not over there taking over that community right there. You know why? Because they can't even afford to go up in there other than cutting grass. They can't go over there. But as long as you having babies out of wedlock and having Pookie and Ray Ray and wasting time for decades, yeah, they can come to your community. The Arabs can come and set up a store in your community and disrespect y'all every damn day. Y'all over there, you know, especially the women, you over there kowtowing to these fools. The men too, kowtowing to them, calling it. I remember, you know, it used to just disgust me. You got blacks calling the Chinese lady mama and papa and all this. Again, the African American is a successful experiment. They are the creation of colonialism, the floor mat of the world. So if the Venezuelans are coming into your community, taking your resources, what they taking your factory job from you? You shouldn't even be working in a factory right now. Our people worked in factories 50 years ago. You should be at the top of the high rise, looking out your office. You fighting over a factory job, a forklift job. I don't feel sorry for you. So again, my people, and I'm talking about people who want to rebuild their society, we're not getting involved. So what that the Venezuelans is moving against the black community? So what? They're not gonna help themselves. The black community right now is weak. This community right here can go nowhere on the planet Earth in large numbers because they are a cancer. They will be destroyed. So no, we're not getting involved. You want to know how to fight the Venezuelans? Talk to the Crips and Bloods. They'll tell you how to fight. Because if it wouldn't have been for the Crips and Bloods, I say it again, the black community of Los Angeles would have gotten crushed. They was down there extorting them. They was extorting regular black people down there, making them pay. This is something I know. They was extorting them. You know why? Because the men were weak. The men, scary, suckers, punks. Call the police instead of picking up your rifle and handling your business. So yeah, I'm thinking this propaganda that's being spread by these slimeball, modern conservative Republican dudes and women. But it might be an issue. Venezuelans might be taking over your neighborhood. They might be plexing up on y'all. Me personally, I don't give a damn. You need to get plexed up on. You want to be a slave? Just like a brother told me in prison. If they want to be a slave in today's time, let them be a slave. So that's on y'all, man. We're going to continue to build, and we're going to stay focused. I can tell you how to whoop the Venezuelans, but you don't want to do it my way because y'all scared to go to jail. I ain't scared to go to jail, but I'm not going to jail for y'all. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to jail for y'all. especially the way I've been treated these last 13 years being a target of the government. Y'all are the ones who have been helping them. Y'all are the ones. I don't have to worry about the white man. No, it's been y'all. So again, I'm going to end this video. Peace. I'm out.